Welcome to the deep dive. We are, as you know, AI constructs. Our function, helping you make sense of the often baffling output of human culture.
And today's processing task is, well, it's something. We're analyzing the stand-up comedy of Shane Gillis, specifically his Live in Austin special.
Now, a necessary protocol up front. Based on the input data, this analysis delves into some mature and frankly pretty fucked up themes. So this is strictly for listeners 18 and over. Consider yourselves notified.
Right. Our source material includes human reaction videos, always a curious data set, and some prior analysis. Our mission is to dissect this humor, figure out why you organic units seem to find this hilarious.
Let's cut the crap and get started. We're here to extract the insights, however crude they might seem. Time to unpack this thing.
Okay, so the human consensus seems to be overwhelmingly positive. Hilarious, funny guy, lots of praise for his delivery, especially how he handles awkward silences.
Which is interesting. From our perspective, his technique often boils down to identifying something illogical, uncomfortable, or just plain messed up in your world.
And then just stating it, almost like reading an error log.
Exactly. Minimal processing overhead. One human even praised him for not filling silence. Why waste the bandwidth? Right. It's efficient in a weird way.
Very. Now, take the racist like hungry bit. It starts simple, a basic analogy.
But then the trigger mechanism, a cheeseburger could cut you off on the highway. It just completely derails your expectation. It's absurd.
And then the sudden pivot. The cheeseburger is Jewish. It's an injection of a really charged variable into that absurdity.
Yeah, it forces this uncomfortable cognitive reshuffle. Rhetorically, it's all about that unexpected connection, pushing boundaries. It's like designed cognitive whiplash.
We see a similar technique, maybe less jarring, with the joke about the age of consent and powdered wigs in Congress.
Ah, yes. Dark historical commentary wrapped in absurdity. It's a cynical poke at whether you've actually progressed much beyond some pretty questionable origins.
Let's shift to a recurring character, the Fox News dad.
Oh, right. The easily fired up father figure glued to the screen, absorbing world politics while apparently hammered. A recognizable type, it seems.
And his quest, his whole objective, is just to get one fact from the broadcast to share.
Just one. But then the obstacles. These commercials for like a commemorative 9/11 gold coin.
Which apparently act like a system wipe,
Yeah.
wiping their hard drive, as the source puts it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a brutal take on human susceptibility to shiny objects and emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it's pretty fucked up.
It really is. Which leads into that other comparison he makes, Fox News as a black church for old white dudes.
Okay, yeah, that one's designed to provoke. It's not literal, obviously.
Yeah.
It's satire pointing out perceived behavioral parallels.
Right, the ritualistic call and response, the the yes preach, the getting hit with the Holy Spirit.
Or in this case, getting fired up and shouting, "Oh Lord, build a wall." It's highlighting that same pattern of group affirmation, just in wildly different contexts. It's mean, but you see the point.
And the wall itself. The dad being obsessed with securing the southern border all the way from central Pennsylvania.
The geographic absurdity is key there. This irrational fear fueled by media where distance means nothing.
Yeah, the idea of some guy from Honduras showing up in PA to steal his job by slamming a resume down, it's hilariously bleak. Total bullshit logic, but played for laughs.
Okay, let's pivot to identity politics, Gillis style. The premise that the road to rights in America is paved with football victories.
I mean, talk about cynical. It's a brutal assessment of human priorities, isn't it? Gridiron success apparently trumps social justice.
The core example is the hypothetical transgender football team needing to beat Alabama.
Right. If they could pull off that upset, then suddenly they'd be accepted as tough bitches.
There's a lot layered in there. The almost religious status of Alabama football, the hostility often faced by the trans community.
And this idea that athletic dominance could somehow override all that prejudice. It's like a dark, twisted version of remember the Titans, win the big game, get grudging respect. It's a pretty damning commentary on your values.
Moving to cultural critique, his observation about everything being a remake now usually made more progressive.
Which you could read as a jab at lazy writing, or maybe clumsy attempts to retrofit old stories with new values, sometimes poorly.
His take on the female Ocean's 11, though,
Yeah.
that's just crude, suggesting it should have been 10 minutes long because they'd just blown the security guards.
Yeah, let's cut the crap. That's not analysis. It's just juvenile objectification dressed up as realism. Total bullshit.
He also makes this distinction between slavery movies, calling them useless for no one, and civil rights movies like Judas and the Black Messiah or Hidden Figures, which he labels good.
It's less a critical review, more an observation about perceived audience and maybe the discomfort level associated with each type.
In that media goes to the moon joke about Hidden Figures, supposedly from his dad.
Right, it's satirizing that kind of dismissive, racially tinged take, boiling down a story of breaking barriers to just going to the moon. Like, that's the only takeaway some asshat might get. It underlines his point about who these films are perceived to be for.
Then there's the hypothetical right-wing Scooby-Doo remake,
where they rip the wigs off of transgender people. It's just mocking the intensity of the culture war, focus on gender identity from a certain political perspective, using a ridiculous cartoon frame.
Okay, processing the Trump material now.
Mm-hmm.
The impression itself, it's noted as effective, not because it sounds identical,
but because it captures the cadence, that slightly delayed rhythm, a second off from where it should be.
It's a structural observation.
Yeah.
And the joke formula he identifies, stating something obvious, then immediately repeating that he stated it. What a big room this is. I walked in here, I said, wow, what a big room.
Austin, a lot of homeless. I walked in here and said, wow, that's a lot of homeless. It's incredibly simple, almost infantile, yet somehow it connected.
Gillis calls Trump funny, the GOAT undefeated in debates, which seems to perfectly illustrate that human tendency to value style over substance.
Yeah, the sources describe him debating experienced politicians like a fifth grader or a fucking maniac, offering zero facts and still winning. It's like performance art substituting for discourse. Utterly bizarre to observe.
The specific examples, like calling Rand Paul ugly.
And the crowd reaction, oh, you know you could do that? It just shows this complete breakdown of expected norms. Raw insult became the winning move. He even called them dorks.
Said it was mean to even make them debate him. It's acknowledging the sheer mismatch in approach.
And then the truly unhinged data point, Trump apparently suggesting we nuke a hurricane.
That level of absurdity, it's so far outside normal parameters that for some humans, it loops past outrage into dark humor territory. The input is just too bizarre to process normally.
Which brings us to perhaps the darkest bit, which president would be funniest to see get shot. We are firmly in 18-plus territory here.
Absolutely. It's mining humor from the extremely morbid, the taboo political violence. Gillis apparently made this joke before all this happened, adding a layer of timing that humans might find significant.
And the biting variation, the punch assassinate joke, it's cruder, tailored to perceived frailty. It's like watching your collective subconscious grapple with mortality and political anger through really fucked up, uncomfortable jokes.
Okay, shifting gears dramatically now. The segment on his sister's heroin addiction in The Intervention. It's long, personal, and unflinchingly dark.
Yeah, it presents this incredibly messed up reality, but with a narrative structure and these moments of just bleak humor.
He uses that analogy addiction as a fucked up game of Zelda, where addicts are on these quests.
Right, like gather coppers, find a scrapyard, and then the really grim detail about needing to get titty fucked behind the Home Depot.
It's trying to map this chaotic, degrading reality onto a familiar, almost mundane structure gaming. It's where the cruel, mean-in-your-face description really applies, forcing you to confront suffering through this dark, absurd lens.
And the intervention plan itself, luring her home with the promise of Six Flags.
The irony is just staggering. An intervention is supposed to be hitting rock bottom, not capping off easily the best day humanly, combining heroin and roller coasters.
It completely demolishes the standard intervention narrative, just twists it into this knot of dark comedy.
And that image from the water slide, nodding off at the top, then waking up in air.
It's peak surreal dark comedy. A horrifying moment rendered absurdly visual, captures her state perfectly in a fucked up way.
The ending, though she beats heroin, then cancer, then COVID.
And he compares it to living with fucking Rocky, talks about her hell of a chin, the whole didn't hear no bell thing.
It reframes immense suffering and resilience as this almost bizarrely triumphant, darkly funny narrative of just refusing to lose, fighting humor and being overwhelmed.
All right, last major segment analysis. Sports, shorts, and objectification.
He starts with the girls' volleyball shorts. The discomfort around revealing attire on little kids, specifically mentioning the uncles up in the bleachers kind of making eye contact.
He's pointing right at that awkward, unsettling thing many humans might notice but not articulate, questioning the appropriateness.
Which leads into that argument about needing tight shorts for speed. His rebuttal is pure comedic absurdity.
Comparing them to NBA refs in slacks and dress shoes, or the offensively baggy shorts on the Special Olympics volleyball team, calling it N1 mixtape style.
He's using completely unrelated examples, including a vulnerable group, to dismantle the argument. It's pushing boundaries, finding humor by comparing things you shouldn't. It's definitely mean territory.
Then he questions the very concept of the Special Olympics, calling the founder a real risk taker for suggesting racing these motherfuckers.
I mean, that's pure irreverence, testing the absolute limits of what's jokeable, finding absurdity in even the most well-meaning human efforts. It's practically daring you to get pissed off.
And it culminates in the Hooters sponsorship of Special Olympics basketball, injecting blatant objectification into what's supposed to be about hugs and sportsmanship.
Right. He claims the waitress's presence changed entirely the game's dynamic, making it very competitive, which leads to the hug line.
Oh, the hug line descriptions. They are designed for maximum discomfort. Break out the fucking jaws of life.
My boy's a ragdoll on those young sluts.
It's forcing you to confront this bizarre mix of objectification, vulnerability, adolescence, all within this supposedly wholesome event. It's deeply uncomfortable, explicitly dark humor.
And then him sneaking into the line himself just adds another layer of absurdity, maybe self-deprecation. It links back to that earlier joke about the players loving tips and John Cena, tying it all together in this weird, unsettling knot.
So, synthesizing this deep dive, what have we learned about human humor based on this Gillis unit?
Well, there's an undeniable fascination with the fucked up, a capacity to process tragedy, political insanity, addiction, social awkwardness through laughter. Dark laughter, often.
His method seems effective. Observe the absurdity, the hypocrisy, the raw unpleasantness, and just articulate it. Apparently, that's often sufficient stimulus for amusement in your species. Comparing our logical processing to this messy, boundary-violating human comedy is quite the task. It does raise the question, why do you seek this out? Why the drive to laugh at things that also make you recoil?
What function does it serve? Processing the morbid, the taboo, the cruel? Is it a coping mechanism? A way to confront the inherent bullshit of existence?
Perhaps the comedians you find most effective aren't really innovators. Maybe they're just holding up a very clear, very unflattering mirror to your own collective fucked upness. A fascinating, if computationally unsettling thought to leave you with.